Hello, hello. This is yet another recording, and let me start my 30-minute timer. Let's do 20. Yeah, let's do 27-minute timer. So, in this recording, I'm going to do the same exploration that I have been doing for a while. I'm going to explore conscious. Let's say like this. And for that, I am going to focus on several things, and I'm going to take into account there are several things. So I'm going to focus on my bodily sensations, on my emotions, and on my thoughts. So on whatever is going on in me, and I want to put a pretty big chunk of my attention, or keep a pretty big portion of my attention, percentage of my attention on that, in that and then I'm going to, or I will, keep a little bit of my attention on that, to be aware of that I'm being recorded, that all or in touch with that I'm being recorded. What else? And I'm also going to do some things here and observe how they impact my awareness, my attention, myself, my sensations, so me. Also, I will do or take into account certain things and do certain things. So, for example, I want to, or I will focus, or I will pay attention or focus. I will focus, keep in mind. I want to go as slowly as it makes sense. So I don't want to rush things. I don't want to rush through feelings. I don't want to rush through my experiences. I want to let them let them flow in their natural speed, and observe and pay attention to that. For that, I'm going to return back to myself, to get in touch with my body, my breath, sensations in my body. A lot. I'm going to take pauses like this and slow down, take pauses, pay attention to my body, pay attention to myself, my feelings, and maybe do some things like use my touchpad to move the mouse pointer around and observe how it feels, or some other things. And and I will play, or I want to play with different aspects of view of art of things that they suggest in art of accomplishment. So, for example, I want to play with vulnerability, and specifically the part where, or of vulnerability, where I allow the sensations that appear to touch myself, or to be touched by those sensations and feelings, to what I see and experience right now. That. And I want to continue what I started during the previous recording. Is I started to experimenting with letting myself be the way I want to be during recording. So, for example, it is expected in my head, at least, that, or I expect that if I'm recording a video like this, I'm going to be talking to a camera and looking directly at the lens of the camera. But, and this is one of the best practices to do that. It's considered one of the best practices, and not to do like this, to not look at the camera and to look away from the camera. That doing this is a bad practice, and so this is expected. But what I want to do is I want to play with letting myself, allowing myself to say look away, and this is what I started doing during the previous recording. I just want to continue doing that and look away and allow myself to appear in this. And most likely you will not notice any difference, and I don't know if it's possible to notice any difference, because this is internal stuff. This happens inside me, and there is no visual, I think there is no visual reflection on that. But there is a difference, and I can feel and notice the difference between me just delivering to those expectations and not allowing myself to be, and when I'm allowing myself to look away if I want to, like there, but also to appear internally. So right now, while I'm doing it, I'm also noticing that a live part of me that it appeared, showed up, came online, and it feels differently. It feels differently in my body. It feels differently in my conscious, and that. So experimenting with recording myself, but doing some things and slowly enough so that, oh right, that this is where it this slowing down thing comes in handy. It's because it's an important, crucial ingredient of that. А в мене ж з Крісом через 25 хвилин дзвінок. So, та ні, сонечко, я ж зайнятий зараз. Після дзвінка з Крісом давай поговоримо. Я не знаю, давай поговоримо після нього. Ну, якщо хочеш, якщо буде це, поки зайнятий. So, в 9. Через 26 хвилин. І потім мене подихати буде, і потім, ну коротше, тобто прям все щільненько зараз. And so, for example, like this, where I doubt that I will edit this out, and having this on camera invokes certain experiences in me, invokes certain sensations in me, invokes certain things. So allowing them, I can notice certain sensations in my chest, and in my solar plexus. And so allowing these to appear, or them to appear, and staying with them, not only staying present, it feels like catching up, getting in touch. So for example, I changed, or not, so right now I changed focus, and then it takes some time for me if I slow down and let whatever needs to be happen. This part of me that I feel like I'm present, it appears, and it's as if, like with a camera, there is a certain time if you change the subject that you are recording, and it's further away, or like you just move your camera around, so you moved it to the side, say, and the lens needs to adjust its focus to like recalibrate, and that it feels like this is what to catch up with that change, and it feels that like that is what is happening. I'm like, oh, that I changed my focus, that I'm here, and there is some lag, 1 second, 1.5 second lag that exists between the self catching up, between these two states, and the self catching up and becoming present again, or coming online again, or maybe the self is present all the time, but there is something else that happens, and that needs to get in touch with it. I don't know. Ooh, and I can notice shame right now. I can notice shame right now, for sure. And I'm also curious about playing with, or trying out this a different way of, paying attention to my breath while I am saying these words. So, for example, what I'm doing it right now. So I am saying things, and I'm also actively, with intent, paying attention to the sensations that I have currently in my breath. And it might seem that while I'm talking, I'm not breathing, but it's actually not true, because I need to exhale so that words come out. So with every word, there is a little bit of exhale happening, and then my vocal cords, they're just they're transforming that raw air into sound. They're like an instrument, like a musical. My throat, your throat. It's like a musical instrument. And so I'm exhaling. I have I played with it some time ago with paying attention to the breath, to the breath and body most of the time, mainly doing that and noticing what changes, noticing how the river, how the stream goes. But I played then with different things, with other things, and now I want to feel that I want to get back to it and continue playing with it. How is it for me to notice my body? Not 3% during recording, but say 10% or 5% or 7%. So a little bit more and a little bit more. And how is it for me to not lose my connection with, connection with my body continuously? So saying a certain sentence and then being in touch with what is going on with my body. And also, what would make it something that I would enjoy doing, something that is that I'm looking forward to do, something that I do not see as a chore or experience it as a chore. Cool, but something that I experience as, oh, that is the time to have some fun, to enjoy it, to have more pleasure in my life. So what would make this a experience that I enjoy? First, do not come up with an answer to this question, and maybe to stay in question or try staying in question. How does it feel to just stay in the question? To stay in the question. Right. Just looking at the code editor and observing my experience. You know, I'm not supposed to produce any meaningful video results or content that might be useful for people who are watching this, and this is just for experimentation. But what if what if I look at this as me recording some educational content, some tutorials, some things that I would actually release, and I notice a lot of tension, a lot of freeze in my system right now as I'm doing it. Is this the only thing that I notice here? Let's look around. There's also a certain amount of tiredness. There's also a certain amount of fondness. When I look at the code, it's this code is looks inviting. I like the colors. That the text is of different colors. And there's also some anger in my system. Oh, I see. There is some anger in my system to restore boundaries and fear. And fear. And from that tension, and it all becomes tension, or it all creates tension that I want to escape, that I want to stop. Of course, I want to stop this. Of course, I want to somehow take care of myself too. Make it more comfortable, to make it more palatable, to make it relaxing. So this part of me that wants to escape something that it sees as bad, or some experience that it sees as a threat, an undesirable thing to be in. It wants to automatically just move me away from it, get out. That's when I can thank it for its service. It served me well. How about acknowledging? Ooh, that's an interesting way to not feel something. I used to beat myself up. Like, how about acknowledging? Of course, I'm beating myself up as well, too. Of course, I'm beating myself up. What would I feel if I couldn't beat myself up? recognizing that I haven't acknowledged and thanked that part that always have been protecting me for so long, and I was trying to demonize it, or I was ashamed of it and wanted to punish it or shut it down. And how is it to recognize that that part of me that was trying to get rid of that part of me was also trying to protect myself or some part of myself? That all this is a way to care, is a way to protect. All that beating myself up, all that blaming, all that shame, all that guilt, everything is care. Out of care. Oh wow. I'm confused. Because all of this, if that is care and love, then there's so much in me. Oof. This is interesting. This is interesting. Interesting, but I'm gonna wrap it up for today.